One man to rule them all. Chris, the master of... excuse me. I was just thinking a little bit too much about myself. This is one Rink to rule them all. Beat the Rink on medium using only one of any given tower. As before, I don't know what that means, but let's go. Let's go. As before, it must have been a very similar mission in the past. So... one of each tower, we don't get monkey villages, balloon shippers, engineers, or submarines. So how does that really affect us? Not that much. I mean, the monkey village thing might affect us a little bit in the later game, but let's get started. Let's do a ninja start. We're going to do a banana farm as well. I'm going to get some extra money flowing in here, even though it requires some clickages. I'm going to get at least a second-tier banana farm. I'll probably sell them right around round 30 or something like that. But like I said, I'm just trying to get some extra money to make this game a little bit easier for me in the late game, which, of course, is the hardest part of it. And if we only get one of each tower, it's kind of important on which towers we actually end up using. Like, for example, I gotta get the more expensive towers in most situations. Like a Moab Mauler might actually not be the most effective tower to go for, because it is not that expensive. So we're probably gonna go for a 4-2 cannon or something like that, just to get the extra balloon popping power, and then just kind of rely on the Moab popping power with all the rest of my towers. That being said, I hope that I have enough Moab popping power, but I think my main goal is once I get a 4-2 helicopter, everything's just gonna be really, really simple. A nice little mouse just sitting in his bed and everything is fantastic, and he walks out and he's like, "Oh, look, some cheese! Look at this delicious cheese over here." Goes and grabs the cheese and tries to bring it back to his, little baby mices and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, boom! Mouse trapped and just gets crushed. His liver is completely crushed. His ribs are broken. His arm is completely mauled. And you know what? Mice feel pain too. You don't think about it, but mice do feel pain. You just killed that mouse. How does that make you feel? That you used a mouse trap and you made that mouse not only just die, but you made him suffer. You made him suffer. Oh, God. So I'm not an advocate for mouse non-torture devices, but I will say that I much prefer the mouse traps where you don't crush on them and break the ribs and don't actually kill them most of the time for several hours, compared to maybe something like a little mouse trap, where it just goes in the little trap, and then you can say, "Oh, let me let it outside," and then it's gone forever. Now, sometimes you have to release it a little bit farther away from your house, but usually, you don't have to kill them, man. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Again, I just don't like the way that they kill the mice. That's the main thing. I know at my job, it was really, really sad. There was billions of mice everywhere because I worked in a garden shop, and guess what? There's bird seed everywhere. There's hay in a lot of places. There's a lot of plants for them to hide in and everything. And we had to use tons and tons of mouse traps, and I was like, well, this is so sad. And there was no real place for me to do anything with them. But I felt really, really bad. But we had to use the mouse traps on them. Or at least if it was up to me, we could have done something else, but it was up to my boss. I don't get to make the decisions. And it made me sad because sometimes I had to throw out the dead mice, or I had to throw out, or yeah, and that's the thing, you just throw them in the garbage, dead mice. Pfft, who cares, right? You just throw them in the garbage. It was so terrible. Yes. So yes. I know that's probably not the best thing to bring up. Now it made me a little bit on the sad side. I'm a little bit sad. So at least it shows I have a little bit of a heart. Maybe it's just a tiny little heart. Nonetheless, I have one more story for you guys. I got something kind of fun for you. I never told you guys about the time that I went beaver hunting. And by beaver hunting, I don't mean I actually tried to shoot him with a gun or anything like that. It was straight up, I was just searching for the beaver. But I remember I saw this, it was in a pond. I was like, what the heck is this, man? It looks like a giant beaver lodge. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but beavers make dams and they make lodges. The lodges is basically where they live. The dams basically where they stop the water from flowing. And they make ecosystems by stopping the water from flowing. I don't really understand exactly how it works, because it just seems like the water would just keep getting higher and higher until eventually it goes over the dam. It doesn't really work that way, though. I don't know how or why it works that way, but it does. We're going to go for a 4th tier ninja for sure. We got the 4th tier ninja. We got a little bit careful because we need some of that popping power pretty soon in here. And we got my 3rd tier banana farm, which, like I said, I am probably only going to keep him for another few rounds, and we're going to sell him fairly soon. Depends on how many bananas I want to end up clicking. Depends on how lazy I am. So we got a wizard. Woo! Let's get the wizard going in here. We're going to go with some lightning magic. But yeah, anyways, I saw this thing. It was at this really weird pond. It was behind one of the targets, sort of near my... Not target, behind one of the Walgreens near my house, and I was like, all right, let's go check it out, man. So I wanted to find this beaver. I was like, dude, let me take some pictures of it or something. I've never seen a beaver before, right? Never. In real life, I've never seen a beaver. In all of my years, I've never seen a real life beaver. Which I was like, this could be fun, man. This could be really fun to finally see a beaver. And I'm like, I don't think beavers even live around here. Then I looked it up online, and I was like, wow, beavers do kind of live around here. Like, it was on, like, the very edge of the brim of, like, this is where the beavers could possibly live type of thing. And, so I went to this pond, and I was like, oh, man, look at this thing. There was mud everywhere. And this was when I was a bit younger, so, like, me getting muddy, my parents used to get pretty mad at me. They did not like it when I would come back really, really muddy to the house. So I was trying to stay as muddy, as non-muddy as possible. I was delving deeper into this little beaver habitat, at least I thought it was beaver habitat. Kept going further and further, and I kept getting stuck in the mud, and I was like, oh no, and anyways, so I got stuck in the mud really, really bad at one point. Oh, it was terrible. So we're gonna go like this, we're gonna go cha-cha-cha, we're gonna go cha-cha, we're gonna put them on pursuit, and we're just gonna wait for this 4th tier upgrade. I feel like I can defeat everything up until round 46, even round 46, with my current technology. And I call my towers technology because it's just kind of fun. So it was like I said, I kept getting muddier and muddier, and I kept delving further and further, and it was basically like, it was really weird, because it wasn't really like woods, it was one of those like high grassy areas, like that's what it looked like, and then it just had like it wasn't even that big of a pond, it was just, I don't know, a normal sized pond. I wouldn't call it a lake, more of a pond. Though I do think that I have a skewed reality of what a pond is versus a lake. I feel like everybody else is like, no, that's a pond. And I'm like, you can't even see the other side. And they're like, yeah, it's a pond. It's not a lake. I'm like, what is a lake considered then, man? I don't know. It's going to be like over a mile? What is a lake? I don't know. It's kind of weird. You don't know when a pond turns into a lake. So we got the Apache Dart Ship, and now we're golden. We're set, man. We're set for life. But yeah, I kept going further and further, and I was like, I should probably turn around. But I was like, I'm so close to finding this beaver. Maybe I could catch it and pet it and stuff like that. Oh my god, it'd be cool. I don't think I would actually do that. Actually, and then I found out beavers are gigantic, dude. You don't think beavers are that big? No, they're big little mofos, man. They can whack you with their tail, probably knock you out. They do like flaps and hit the ground, hit the water and everything. Maybe break my eardrums. Who even knows, man? Who even knows? So anyways, my foot got stuck in the mud, and I was like, oh crap, and I tried to pull it out. Guess what? My shoe got caught in the mud. And I was like, oh no. So then I switch over to my left foot. I'm like, alright, I gotta stand mostly on my left foot while I reach down and try and grab my shoe out of the mud. Completely, utterly stuck. Guess what? During that time, my left foot gets stuck in the mud. I'm like, oh my god, this time I can't even get my shoe out of the, or I can't even get my foot out of the shoe. So now I'm trapped. Pretty much shoeless. Pretty much completely trapped. I was so sad. I didn't even know, I was like, am I gonna die here? What am I gonna do? And then I fell. And then I fell on the ground, and I realized, okay, now that I fell on the ground, I'm not as stuck anymore. I don't, because the first thing was I didn't want to get muddy, and that's why I'm standing up in the mud. So this is the point where I realized that there's no way I'm going to there's no way I'm going to see a beaver today. I am going to have to turn around. So I managed somehow to get my shoes out of the mud, and basically crawl out of the area. Like, I didn't want to stand up anymore because I felt like I might actually get stuck in the mud so much that they're gonna find me dead there, petrified. I'll be one of those people that they find in 100 years or something like that, and they're like, this guy, or 1,000 years, and they're like, this guy died by getting stuck in the mud, and that's why he's so well preserved. They'd be like, oh man, this is a Y2K kid. I don't know, they'd probably call me something like that. Holy crap, dude, what the heck is going on? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry about that. That was really weird, man. Really funky. I think the thing is, as my iPad is still on we shut down after you don't touch me for 2 minutes. I really haven't had to do anything. It's just been very, very easy. So let's build another super monkey in here. Why not? And we've got a Roboplasma on top of these guys. Now, I don't think that anything can kill me at this point. We did lose 2 lives. I don't even remember when that happened. Oh, it's probably when I was on round 2 or something. Yeah, or when I was just getting a low-level ninja trying to get banana farms like crazy. But anyways, I managed to crawl out of this pond, and then guess what? I turn around and I see the frickin' It looked like a beaver. I'm not sure if it was a beaver, because I heard there was like other things that looked like beavers, like muskrats and stuff like that. It looked like a beaver scurrying in the back, and I was like, oh my god, I would have saw him. I probably would have caught him if I kept going further, but I didn't. And then when I came home, because like I said, I was a little bit younger, I got yelled at so bad. I didn't tell them what happened. I just told them that I fell in the mud, and it didn't really look like I fell in the mud, because my whole entire legs were like from the foot all the way up to the knees were just soaked in mud. Then my butt was all muddy because I like fell down and everything. My arms were all muddy, and I was just like trying to hose myself off. It was really cold and everything. Oh man, that was a bad story, but it was also a fun story. You know, you don't always get those fun stories. You know, if you don't take chances, you don't do things in life, nothing's gonna ever happen to you. That was like the only time that I've ever got stuck in the mud. There's only one other time that I got stuck in the mud, and that was when it wasn't really that bad. My brother was faking that he was legit stuck in the mud, and that he wasn't going to be able to escape, and that he was going to die out there. And he got me really, really afraid. This was a long time ago, and I was really, really young though. So this is round 63, and the ceramics are very, very easy to pop with our delicious little Spectre. And we're finally on the last round here, round 65. But overall, I mean, this is one of the easiest missions that I've played in a long time. Like, legit, I barely did anything after round 40. In fact, it shut down on me because I didn't even do anything for so long. But that is all I'm going to have for you guys today. Obviously, if you liked the video, press the like button for me. I'd really, really appreciate that. If you didn't like the video, let me know why in the comments. I'd like to make the video better for you. And have a super duper delicious day.